I want to introduce Shayla Gifford. Shayla is, I would say, a leader of leaders is the best way to describe Shayla. Everybody that I personally know in the mortgage industry looks up to Shayla. I've been in part of masterminds where there are people that are just absolutely epic that go up to Shayla and say, listen, you're the top dog here. And like, we look up to you. So if there's somebody to actually listen to in the industry, Shayla is 100% the person. And we could talk about money, production, numbers. Shayla's got a checkbox next to all of those. But I love Shayla for her personal side of things. And I'm always so entertained watching your Instagram story. Please check her out. It's at Shay Giff, right? I need to put it in the
Yes.
comments right now. At Shay Giff. And so, oh, man, can I even do it? My keyboard isn't on. I'm gonna type it in the comments right now. There it is. Cool. Thank you, Sonia, for having a keyboard that's turned on. So you're always traveling. You're in Cabo right now. You're going to Europe. You just did 75 hard, which, like, my God, I mean, like, you're always doing something. And then just to switch it up, you're like, you know what I want to do this year? I want to have more sex. And like, you're always putting out just like, hey, oh, today I went to this nudist club, and me and Galen, we're gonna just try being naked, about a bunch of people. So like, you're always entertaining, you're always keeping it real, and like, it doesn't have to be like some sort of we're just these stuffy mortgage people, like, we're real people, and we're dealing with real struggles, and like, you're open and raw about stuff, like, so anyway, with that introduction, I want to welcome Shayla Gifford.
That is definitely the most interesting introduction we've ever had.
It might be the most.
You might be the most interesting woman ever, and there you go.
Jimmy certainly thinks so. So there, for sure. Welcome. What are we talking about today, Shayla?
Thank you. It makes me really want to wonder about what Instagram story I posted about going to a nudist club. I'm not sure I did that, Jimmy, but
it was like a nude beach or something. I don't know. Here, I remembered it, and it was a while ago. I mean, it's just like, you're watching something like, what are you doing? I mean, it is entertainment, to say the least, but also tons of free nuggets of mortgage content that you're going to get on following Shayla. We're doing some Shay shit,
We're doing some Shay shit. Let's just do it. Let's just get right into it.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to say that I wrote down a couple things that you said because, a personal brand. And personal brand is really, in my opinion, it is the feeling you want people to have when they interact with you. And I can tell you, for a long time, I've wanted to be a leader of leaders. And for a long time, I've maybe only prayed to be cool or entertaining. That's not how I've always seen myself. And so I guess what was really special about what just happened there is that, there's this version that we see of ourselves. And often the version that we see of ourselves is this messy work in progress. And often we see all the things that are missing. Yeah, you're great. Yeah, but. And it's really fun to just bask in the glow for a minute of people telling you what they experience from you and how awesome you are. And if I could see every single one of you right now and look you in the eyes and just beam that same energy that Jimmy just did to me, I would hope to start your day that way, or this moment right now that way, because in all the work I've done, and I've been on a journey of doing personal development at a hardcore pace for over 25 years. And when I say, I'm constantly, voraciously in a conference, reading a book, studying something, getting another certification, leaning in. Why? Because I just have an endless fascination and curiosity about studying human nature, about testing myself and my limits, about finding new ways to break through and experience life at another level. And it's really cool for you, Jimmy, to say some of those things about me, because I would look at myself in the mirror for many, many years and say, yeah, but no, I'm not cool. I'm really focused. No, I'm not really entertaining. I'm not creative. I'm intense. And so I tell all of you that because no matter where you're at today coming to this call, you might feel pretty beat down. You might be feeling like you hate yourself. I mean, I literally have people share with me some of their most vulnerable spaces of their heart. And some of the things that people tell me are like, I don't trust myself. I don't feel like anything's working for me. I feel frustrated or pissed off or angry or stuck. I feel like I'm constantly confused or a yo-yo. I can't be consistent with my life. How come I can't just get in a rhythm or routine? And I feel really grateful that people share all that stuff with me, because then I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God you're normal, because I have so much noise that goes on in my head. I have so much desire. And I think being a driven person and being extraordinarily driven means often that you're frustrated or you're kind of banging against something. And so today, what I thought appropriate in giving this amazing opportunity to be with you, Jimmy, and to be with you, Gino, and to be with Momentum Builders is to say, hey, what are some of the exercises that I do, that I teach my team, that I coach all the time in Catalyst, that help bring that clarity, that help bring a perspective of growth? Because the truth is if you don't have your perspective right, if you don't have a good story that drives you forward every day, then we walk around feeling lost and feeling shitty a lot. And the truth is that we all know there's abundant opportunity, even with now the jobs report and the inflation report and the rates going up. Right when we thought we were about to catch a break, it's like, boom, we get hit again. The reality is that there's still an abundant amount of opportunity. It's not a zero-sum game. If you win, I lose. It is actually an opportunity every day to go, what do I want to create? What do I want to experience in my life? What matters to me? Not what matters to other people. And so today I thought I would actually do a bit of a workshop with you, because otherwise we could joke and laugh and tell stories and maybe inspire, make you feel good. But I really believe until you're connected to what you want, what matters to you, you could get caught up playing stupid games. And if you've never heard this saying, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, that's a definition of insanity. That's the definition of feeling burnt out, of going, why isn't this fun for me? Because you're playing stupid games to win stupid prizes. And what I mean by that is some people play the game of, I want market share, and they will undercut their price down to nothing so that they can win every loan or win every client. And then they're on a hamster wheel with no life balance, with no money in the bank, with no team to support them, because they played a stupid game, right? Or they want followers, or they want fame, or they want whatever. The truth is there's really no wrong way to go about it. But if you're playing someone else's game, if you're playing a game that isn't aligned to your vision and the shit you really care about, then you're winning stupid prizes by playing the stupid game. And if there's anything that we need for 2025, it is energy, enthusiasm, and gosh dang it, momentum. Because it is so much easier to build the life that you want, to feel powerful, to feel on fire, to have confidence and stability and create freedom if you have momentum. It is really, really difficult to constantly start, stop, start, stop. So that's what I'd love to do today, if I have your permission, Gino and Jimmy.
Yeah, 100%. And just going back to the one thing that you were talking about earlier, we talk about, I've actually been a little more focused on this over the last year, because I'm always seeking and trying to find better, no matter what, at everything I do. The thing that seems to stand out to me, Shayla, when I watch your socials is, Gary Brecka says that the highest frequency that humans receive is authenticity. And there's no doubt 100% you're not going to hide anything, as Jimmy pointed out. You're just going to tell us what's up. And I think that's what this new world is all about. Just be you. And that's what people want.
You know, I think authenticity came to me when I realized that everyone was struggling. That's just the common bond and fact of humanity is no matter how good something looks, like somebody's got it totally put together, they're rock solid, they're calm, they're peaceful, they're giddy, they're playful, they're whatever it is, the way in which somebody's presenting, that we may look at and go, gosh, I'm not like that. I wish I had my act together. I wish I was as focused, or I wish I was as influential, or, you know, name characteristic. The truth is we're all struggling, just like every business has a struggle always, right? You either have a sales struggle, you don't have enough leads, you don't have enough quality leads, you don't have enough opportunity, or you have an operational struggle. You have plenty of business coming in, but now operationally you're struggling. You don't have the right systems, process, enough staff, enough people. And all of a sudden your hotel is full of guests, but you can't get a warm meal onto the table properly, or you can't get turn down service done on time, right? Like there's an operational struggle, or there's a financial struggle. I've just made the investments to upgrade, to improve staff, to double down on my processes, to buy new technology, whatever it is. But now I have a financial struggle. I've got all this investment and I've got to go put it to work. And so then I've got to get back to a sales struggle. So what happened for me is, I think when you aren't living authentically, it means that we're putting on a mask. It means that we're putting on a front. How do I need to be in order to be accepted? How do I need to be in order to be trusted or followed or worthy of something? And, you know, really what it is actually true enduring confidence believes that you have the capability to do what is needed, and you have the desire to do what is needed. Okay. So like, you could go sit down with somebody and they could have an opportunity for you, and you're not authentically excited because maybe you have the capability to do it, but you don't have the desire and the will to want to do it, because what it's going to take doesn't feel like a payoff to you. And so again, this to me all comes back down to like, well, what is it that you really, 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 really want? Because the things that we really, really want, we have that energy and that enthusiasm to go get. And we will endure the work to get there if we can keep our eye on the prize. If we've identified the prize and we really, really understand why that matters to us, and we keep our eye on the prize, it's amazing what we can go and endure, whether it's cold calls, whether it's rejection, whether it's, you know, speaking in front of people, whether it's pursuing education or starting a new group or going into a room where we don't feel worthy to be there. If we want the thing bad enough, we will do whatever it is that we've got to do to get there. And so generally as a coach, I like to start with, well, let's get the thing in line. Let's get your clarity around what the hell it is that you want to build. Otherwise, I could sit over here and tactically tell you, this is what time you should start your day. This is what you should do for the first 2 hours of the day. This is what you should say in those 2 hours of the day. And none of that's going to matter if you're not connected to what it is that you really want. And I also believe that strategy should be customized. Okay. I've been a part of a lot of coaching programs that just said, call more people, see more people. I think there's more of an art and a customized strategy based on your archetype. What kind of person are you? And that's a whole nother training. In fact, last week I just did a training on the archetypes I like to coach to. I don't know what that meant. It just said that I'm being spotlighted or something like that. But
yeah, we just made you the star, which you already are.
Okay, I'm like, I don't know.
Jimmy and I are in hiding, and we're letting you take the floor. Just go.
Okay, guys. Well, let's just dive right in here. So I'm going to walk you through something you've probably done before called a wheel of life. But before I do that, and then we're going to talk about your Q4 goals, like legitimate. What are the goals? 2 goals, not 10, 2 that you're going to pursue in Q4. So we've already talked about this, but hot sex weekly is one of my goals with my husband. We've been married for 16 years. I got 2 daughters, Gemma and Gwen. They're 13 and 10. We love to travel. I'm on fall break right now. I'm in Cabo San Lucas. this is my team in the top right. I am still in production. My team this year is on track to do 100 million. Oh, it's going to be a tight one because we got to crank out 10 million the next 3 months in a row. We live in Reno. We go to Lake Tahoe on the weekends. We love to wake surf and mountain bike and do all the things. I just started Catalyst, which is my unique coaching experience, in July, and I'm just having a hell of a time with that. And then I run a group of loan officers around the nation. So I have about 60 loan officers that are in my crew, including branch managers and all the like. Let's jump right into this very first form, which is, what does it take to retire? Now, I'm hoping you guys got the packet ahead of the call. If not, I can go ahead and upload it in the chat. Do you want me to do that?
Sonia will do it.
Okay, Sonia, you have it? Okay, sweet. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to switch over to this packet. So this form really changed everything for me, because I truly believe that most of us are not money motivated. Let me repeat myself. Most of us are not money motivated. And here's how I would tell you I know that. Most of us do not wake up in the morning and go, money, 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 money. How do I go get money? Where do I find money? I want some money, 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 money. Okay. That's not how we're wired. Most of us are wired, which is, how can I enjoy myself today? What would be fun? What would drive my life forward? Where could I give love, receive love? How could I feel like what I do matters? How do I make an impact? However, money is a fact of life. And without it, it's hard to have time freedom. It's hard to have relational freedom. Like, if you don't have money, you kind of have to take whatever is given to you. You got crappy clients, you got to deal with them. You got people that treat you poorly as referral partners, you got to deal with it. You can't really have freedom to go work remote or, take 2 weeks off without your cell phone, because you can't afford it. You don't have that time freedom. So for me growing up, I didn't have a lot of financial stability for a while because my parents were in construction. They also got divorced. And I remember a time where our house was on the market, then it was off the market, then it was listed for sale again, then it was not. And it was very unsettling as a child to not know if we were good or not. So when this form was given to me years ago, it really helped me get a very clear vision for what I was trying to create, which was passive income. Okay. To me, wealth, when I define wealth, is passive income. So right now we're on a mission to generate $2 million a year in passive income. Okay. Part of that strategy is going to come from the income we can derive from our portfolio, liquid assets. So I'm just going to teach you that one strategy here today. And this is already pre-filled out so that I can save you guys time. But here's the essential truth to this, is that for every if you want to have $50,000 of income from your portfolio, okay, cash assets that you have, let's just say you take 5% cash assets. Okay. So you need, if you have $1 million invested, you draw 5%, you're bringing in $50,000 of annual income. Okay. Does everybody kind of follow along with me? Can you give me a thumbs up or in the chat, tell me if you're following, because this is important. We're in finance here. I really want to make sure we're getting that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay. So this form, and I'm going to give you a blank one, but what you do is you say, what is my current survival number? And then I'm going to multiply it by 50%. Okay. Now what that means is when I go to retire, my goal is to actually retire richer than when I was working. See, now what happens for most people? Most people, they work their entire life, they get to retirement, and then they have to cut back. They have to restrict. They have to do less, spend less. Well, what if we flip that on its head and said, no, screw that. When I go to retire, I actually want to be able to have more freedom in every way. So we plan for that up front. Okay. So this is a very simple example. By the way, this is something you can teach to every business partner you have, every employee you have. But let's say you're trying to just generate $7,500 a month in passive income. Okay. Which, by the way, I love a strategy where you have $7,500 a month in passive income from rental properties, $7,500 a month from passive income of your liquid assets. And maybe you also have Social Security in there, and you've got $15,000, $20,000 a month That's a pretty good life for most people. And in our business, it's really not that hard to achieve if you focus and you set out on a path and you go, let me really focus for 10 years and see what I can build. You'd be blown away, because I've helped many people do it. So what you do is you take the amount of income you want to receive, so the $7,500, and you divide it by $4,100 a month. Okay, because if I take $50,000 a year divided by 12, it's actually 4,300, but it's roughly 4,100 a month that you need per million. So you would need $1.8 million in total assets in order to draw that $7,500 a month without eating into the principal. Now, some people have this philosophy of, die with zero, which means I'm trying to spend every bit of my liquid assets while I'm alive. And we could argue about that, but almost everybody that I talk to has a goal eventually to not only retire, but to leave some sort of a legacy, to leave their generation behind them with more opportunity than they had. So let's assume you don't want to touch your principal. And today you're sitting with $50,000 in cash. Okay. Could be in a 401k, could be in a cash value life insurance, could be in a savings account. What that means in line number 4 is that you take the 1.8 million minus 50 grand, you need to save 1.7 million. Now, I just taught this exercise to a bunch of estheticians and spa professionals. And I said, how many of you are shutting down right now and you're already not listening to me because you don't think you can save $1.7 million? 60% of the room go up. Okay, stop it. Money is not emotional. It is tactical. Okay, it is tactical. You just have to break it down into bite-sized pieces. So then you decide, how long am I going to work? Okay, so let's just say in this example, 25 more years. Maybe you're 40 years old, you're going to work to 65. What the next section shows is how much your current assets will be worth because of compounding growth. If your 50 grand is sitting there for 25 more years, you can multiply that by 5.4. So if you multiply by the factor of 5.4, your 50 grand is now worth 270,000, even if you don't save another penny, so long as it's actually invested. Can I get a thumbs up? Are you guys following me so far? Okay. So thank you, Allison. The goal is to get to 1.8 million. Your money now is going to grow over time. Now I need to find out in line number 7, what is left? How much more do you need to save? Okay, so I take that 1.7 million minus the 270,000. You've got 1.5 million left to save. So good news, you actually get to reduce that amount, because the whole time you're growing wealth over 25 years, your money is also compounding and growing. So you don't need to save a full 1.5. Let's take a 30% discount from that. So you multiply that by 70%. You only now need to save 1,056,000 over 25 years. Okay. Somebody was telling me the other day that if you save something like $257 a month with a very normal rate of return, you'll have $1 million in 30 years. Okay. Every single American, once they get to a place of out of survival, can save $257 a month. The problem is nobody sits down and shows people this. We don't go to a high school class and learn this at 18 years old. Nobody talks to us about it in college at 22 years old. And it's the reason we do loans for people and they're 55 years old and we're scraping up $27,000 to buy a house, right? So in this instance, if you divide 1,056,000 by the months left to work, okay, 25 years is 300 months, then you need to save $3,521 a month. Okay. Now, for the average person that's making a $5,000 salary or a $10,000 salary, this might be tricky, but I want you to start thinking about the 30-30-10-30 rule. And the reason this is so appropriate right now in our industry is because the world has knocked us around the last couple of years. So many people were living high on the hog and they bought bigger, fancier cars and houses, and they were taking these trips. And it was like, wow, why? Because they had the extra cash in their account. We all have a number in our account that we go, if I dip below this, I'm freaking out. Okay. Some people, it's like, I need to have 10. Some people say I need to have 50. If I'm below that, I'm panicking. But for sure, there's always that number that anything above that, generally, if we don't swipe it out of there and invest it and put it somewhere long-term, what do? We spend it. Okay. So the key is to work our lives on this 30-30-10-30 rule, which is that 30% of our income needs to go to the IRS. 30% is saved. Then 10% goes to charity. And what is left, 30%, is what we get to live on. Okay. And most people work their life completely backwards, especially any real estate agents, 1099s. They take their gross income and then they live and pay their bills. And then hopefully they've saved some money for taxes, but they probably haven't taken the money and put it away for savings. Okay. Now listen, us mortgage people, for most of us, we've been saved by being forced to be on a W-2. It's been super interesting how many people have tried to cross over into the broker world on 1099. And I will tell you the problem. In about another year, when people have had 2 full years of 1099 income and haven't been paying their taxes, and now have a big ass tax bill, and now they're paying debt to the IRS, we're going to have a lot of people go, oh my gosh, what have I been doing? Okay. So on my prayer is that you really think about your life right now and go, what is my overhead? And how do I get my income to a place that my overhead is only 30 to 40% of my total income coming in? Okay. So in this instance, let's just say this person makes $10,000 a month. If they lived by the 30-30-10-30 rule, they would have to live their lifestyle on $3,000 a month. Okay. Now, when I hire young people, this is generally how it works for them. Their bills are like $2,000, $2,500, $3,000 a month. This is why young people, Jimmy, have the greatest opportunity to come in and smoke us in this industry. Their advantage is that they have low overhead. Whereas other people have this high overhead and they can't reinvest in their business. They're walking around panic, freaked out all the time. They're not in this enthusiastic, abundant state that attracts business their way. So no matter where you're at, we've got to work to recalibrate, bottom line. And I think most of us have been doing all that, but very simply reverse engineer and say, okay, maybe your numbers up here is that you want to have $15,000 a month in passive income and you only want to work 10 years instead of 25 years. You can play with this every which way to Sunday. And what I'll tell you is I did this initially when I was 29 years old. And at the time, at 29 years old, I was not considered entertaining. I did not have a lot of life balance. I worked about 12 hours a day. And every minute I wasn't working, I was thinking about work. Okay. So that is where I came from. I dropped out of college. I've been working like a maniac since I was 19 years old. But what I really, really craved was freedom. What I really craved was to be able to go stay at the one and only Palmia in Cabo with my family and do, go to this sushi restaurant and not worry about doing the conversion between pesos and dollars to figure out if my daughter can have Wagyu beef on a hot stone, which she did the other night. So I wanted that so bad. But the point is that I needed a playbook. I needed something to just focus on so that I could win the day, I could win the month. Okay. And when I did this at 29, my goal was to get to a place where I literally could choose whether or not I went to work. Now, I love working. So I figured out by the age of 34, I hit the number, which was 4 million. And then I was like, okay, I don't think I could quite run off to the jungle yet. These kids are kind of expensive. My lifestyle's expanded a little. So then I reworked the numbers again and said, well, what if I worked another 6 years till I was 40? What if I worked 10 more years? And so it's just a fun, creative process. But what happened for me with this form is that I got really excited every month to count the money. Every month to say, okay, how much money came in the bank account? How much money went out? What is my minimum that I need to keep in here? And how can I swipe and get this invested long-term? How can I get my money working for me and compounding quickly? And we literally, my husband and I end up joking because we end up setting the bar. We kept moving the bar. And he would say, I remember one time where he's hey, Shay, if you can save $250,000 in a month, I'll make you a fish dinner. And I was like, yay, I want a fish dinner. And so I forgot about this because it's a long time ago now. And he's now trading. He's doing options trading every day and he's kicking ass. But this is a whole new business and learning for him. And he's really leaned in. And so the other night we had halibut. I'm like, babe, I think you got us a fish dinner last month. And so I'd say that because like you got to make it fun and you've got to realize that it's just a game and that you got to fall in love with the game. And playing the game also means you're going to get rejected. It means that you're in a constant state of being uncomfortable because you're pushing yourself to break through those limits. But my challenge that I see for a lot of people is that they don't have that long-term thing in place. They don't have that big why that guides them. And so just from a money perspective, I hope you can adjust to the 30-30-10-30 rule and carry that with you and teach it to your real estate agents, teach it to your kids, teach it to the young people that come on your team. And then second, count the money. So in my takeaway for you guys, I've got some money rules and they might even be in here. Yeah, I'm not going to go over them today. But the money rules are really helpful because again, nobody ever taught me money rules. And then when somebody said, listen, it's tactical, it's not emotional. And these are the rules. You need to play by the rules. It helped me. And I've now made millions of dollars and saved millions of dollars and helped a lot of other people because somebody gave me a playbook. So
Shayla, I want to bring us back to some people that, so I'm blessed with the opportunity to talk to loan officers across the country every single day. And I sell a product that is $158 per month. I believe it's next level, best in class. It's amazing. Jimmy, I don't have 158. I can't afford it. So, okay. But here, this is important because some people have just gotten into the industry and have no idea what 2020 and 2021 were about. Okay.
Yeah.
There are some people that are just starting. And a lot of them, they're not the young person with no expenses. They might have a house. They might have kids. They might have some real life expenses. We're all leaders here. Most people are on this. And we all talk to people that are in that mode of, I am barely just getting by. How the heck am I going to save even $257 a month? Bridge the gap in between that. Bridge the gap between, look, I'm now in a part where I am celebrating the money that I've saved this month. I'm getting my 1.8 mil. I'm going to have my passive. Bridge the gap between I'm building towards that and I'm surviving. Like the person that's surviving, get to that next spot.
Get out of survival as fast as humanly possible. I mean, here's the deal. A survival mode sucks. It really freaking sucks. So I would do whatever it takes to be obsessed to get out of survival mode. That's it. I wouldn't worry about my work hours. I wouldn't worry about my fitness. I wouldn't worry about anything else except getting out of survival. And the truth is that you know what it takes. It might be that you need to go to 20 open houses a week. Literally, and you need to call every one of those people 5 times and beg for a coffee or lunch. It might be that you have to beg for business. It might be that you have to send rate sheets to 25 people every single day. I mean, legitimately, if you have this attitude of survival sucks and I need to catapult my way out of here, it's not going to be pretty to get out of survival. You just have to do whatever it takes. The problem is that a lot of us get involved and go, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to be broke. And so we do all this stuff and we don't do it necessarily with finesse or with a plan or a rhythm. And we wake up and we're still living in survival mode. Okay. So those people need to realize that you're hitting a glass ceiling, and that's where we have to refine strategy. If you were literally at, I am down to my last dollar, I'm at bankruptcy, I'm there, you either need to quit or get really freaking pissed off and get yourself out of that mode. Okay. The people that stay in that mode for a year, 2 years, I don't get you. I don't honestly, because it's so scary and painful that I would literally do anything to get out of being in that spot. And I think that most people aren't. They are more addicted to living in chaos or to experiencing pain because they're trying to punish themselves for something. Like, stop punishing yourself. It's already hard enough. Just go figure out how to make it out of there, period. The second thing is be a business person. Realize that this is a business. If you want a job, go work for a builder or bank that are going to hand you leads and then do a damn good job being a skinner, not a hunter. Okay. A skinner says, give me the opportunity. I will flay it up. I will do a great job. I will get a good result. But that should come with stability, with a salary and a bonus profile. And you better be the best damn skinner that there ever is, because as the industries contract, anybody that's mediocre, that's okay, is gone. Right. But the people that are the best ever at whatever it is, whether it's a processor, an underwriter, a receptionist, or whatever, they're still here and they have job security. So I think what's cleared out is this complacency and this being stuck. You can't bump along right now. It's demanding excellence. And I love that, because like, we all want that. We all want to be in a profession where you look to your left and right and go, okay, if these people are making it and closing loans and kicking ass, they're studs. And I want to work with people that are studs. I don't want to work with a bunch of people that can just make money being shitheads and they don't deserve it. Like, that's not a fun environment to be in. Right. So did I answer the question?
Yeah. And let me jump in there, right? Because there's two things I think you touched on, and I'll use my own story for this. It's like, look, I've always struggled with weight my whole life, right? And it's not because I didn't know what the formula was. The formula was stop eating more shit than you should. Okay, that was the formula. It's not the hardest formula in the world, but I wasn't willing to do it because the pain wasn't great enough, right? Because I was still successful, because I was still charming, because I was still, happy at home and all these other things. The pain wasn't enough to make me do what it takes. So sometimes it's unfortunate, people talk about rock bottom or whatever, but instead of finding the pain, avoid that. There's no reason to wait all the way to the moment that you're feeling pain to make a change. Make that change. You already know the formula. And the biggest thing that I see, and I recognized this many, many years ago, was I had work ethic, but I didn't have discipline. And for me, the difference is I said, I'm putting in 14 hours a day, just like Troy said. I'm grinding nonstop. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. I would say, no, you're not. You're doing a lot of things, but they're clearly not the things you're supposed to. Are you organized? Are you disciplined? Do you do the things every morning that you know are the things that need to get done instead of the things that you feel like doing? Because answering email is kind of a cool, easy thing to do. And, I'm so busy. It's midday and all I did was answer emails. Well, turn that on its head. You've heard eat the biggest frog first. Well, just fucking do it. Just do it. So I think lately the one thing is the 1-3-5. Do one big thing, 3 medium things, and 5 little things. And I promise you that the compound effect of those, if you go far enough and you continue to do those in a disciplined manner, you will get everything you want. But if you're just going to let other people dictate your time and you're going to make other people's priorities your priorities, you'll never make it.
I love that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I think this hunter skinner, it's really an identity. Like, I love to hunt needs to be a mantra. And if you can't own that, you need to quickly get out of commission only and not feel shame about that. You need to be the best supporter, AKA Skinner, AKA concierge that ever was. See, I just did a call Tuesday, about freedom. And one of them is to really explore your freedom of purpose. And a lot of people struggle with like, what is my purpose? What does it mean to have freedom to pursue my purpose? And for me, when I boil down purpose, it is to give love and receive love, period. Now, that's not my mission. My mission in life, what I jump out of bed to do is help people break through their barriers. I love helping high achieving people break through to that next level. Just like you, Gino, and go, yeah, I know that I'm lying to myself. Like, I'm lying to myself. I look in the mirror. I know I'm fat. I don't like it, but I'm telling myself, yeah, but I'm charming and I'm successful and I got money in the bank and life is all good. But you know, you're actually lying to yourself and you're not doing the thing that you need to do to break through that ceiling, right? So for some people, purpose is creating ambiance, creating harmony, being somebody that's there as a supporter, that creates stability and solidarity in a team. Those are very important roles that make life great and really worth living. But that is, again, coming back to you knowing what you want and also knowing what you're good at, what your strengths are. And so right now, the only mentality and identity that will work in the mortgage business is I am a hunter and I'm a rainmaker. I get up every day to say, I need to make it rain. I need to create opportunity. I got to get the phone to ring. I got to create win-win partnerships. I got to go out and solve big problems to make big money. And if that doesn't turn you on, in fact, I interviewed a salesperson yesterday and she goes, she had stayed at home with a baby for 1.5 years. She had gotten out of sales. She said, the first call I made for someone else in a sales job, I got hung up on. And she was like, ooh, I miss this. And I'm like, you know, when you're a hunter, when that is your vibe, okay? And as I'm saying this, if it makes you cringe and you're like, no, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that, then you don't love this game. And it's okay. Go find a game you love. Because let me tell you, if I had to work in a hospital, I would hate the game and suck. If I had to go work in a school and work with kids, I would hate the game and suck. There's so many games that I could not do. But I believe I was meant to go in the jungle. I was meant to wake up every day and go hunt and create and build and overcome and learn and grow and bump into things and keep going. And so my spirit animal is a rhino. You got to have thick skin. You got to have a horn on your head and you've got to charge, right? Is it with self-doubt? Fuck yeah. Is it with, insecurity? Always. Is it with like tired eyes and my hair's not done and my nails haven't been done? Yeah, it's not sexy or pretty. Okay. But the point is that you get to evolve through different stages of your career. And in the beginning of a career, which might be a rebirth for all of us, right now, we all need to be eager. We need to be on our toes. We need to say, yes, please, and thank you. I will take that opportunity. Yes, please, and thank you. And we got to lean into being eager, and then we can refine it to being a purposeful rainmaker. I know when I come in, I know what I do, I know what I say, I'm held accountable. I get uncomfortable every single day. I'm pushing, I'm asking, I'm closing. I'm doing all the things. And then now I'm running a business. I'm a change maker. I am choosing discipline. I'm becoming a leader worth following. I'm running a system. I'm running a process. But again, like there's no point in talking about here if we're right here. And so thank you for bringing up struggling, because it is what it is. Can you afford $158 or $2,000 or $10,000? Yeah, we can all find money. Money is a tool. Money is tactical. That's not the thing. The question is more about alignment. And so I'll just get back into the final part of this exercise, because I'm going to give you guys homework to do. And if you're serious about, really being on fire in your life, if you're really, really serious about it, you do these kind of exercises, because there is nothing like clarity. The person who is clear about what they want and where they're going is on fire. So this is my new Catalyst planner that I've got. And right inside of the Catalyst planner is my annual goals. What are my annual goals and what are my next steps? Well, this wheel of life is about my favorite exercise to actually clarify, what do I care about right now? Okay, right now. And I don't have time to take you through this exercise, but the best way to go about it is first to identify where you're struggling. Okay, what frustrates you about your money? What are two things? Maybe it's your credit card debt. Maybe it's the IRS tax bill that you have. CPA, or you don't have your trust and estate done. I don't know, but no matter what, I've never met anybody that can't find two struggles in every area of their life, period. Then you go ahead and rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. So if your family life is at 10, you're Leave It to Beaver, everybody's fully connected, like, oh my gosh, you're flying on high. Do not rate yourself a 2. Oftentimes, if I do this exercise, people will be crying because they're like, oh my gosh, I suck so bad. Here's what's going on. The reality is that part of the problem is that we aren't focusing on where we've come, what the progress has been. Okay. So 1 is absolutely awful. 10 is best ever. You come up with the struggles and frustrations, and then you chart it on the graph. Okay, so if your money was a 2, you would start from the middle and you come up to a 2. If your work was an 8, you go out to an 8 and you circle it. And then you have a diagram of what your wheel of life looks like. The goal being, for most of us, is that we want to have a big, brilliant, beautiful, circular, well-balanced life, okay? Where we are kicking ass both in our marriage and with our children and in the community. We're on purpose, spirituality is strong and humming, like, woo, life is good. Okay. I've been at this for 20 years, obsessively, always challenging myself, and it's never looked like that. Okay. Sometimes it's a star, sometimes it's a flat tire, sometimes it's round, but I'm kind of playing small because I'm in like preservation mode. But for sure, what always happens when you do this exercise is you will get an aha. You will get awareness around, where am I spending my time, energy, and focus? Where have I neglected to spend time, energy, and focus? Am I kind of balanced, but maybe playing small? I'm holding myself back. Or wow, look how much I've really rounded it out because I've done this couple 1, 2, or 3 things that have really mattered in my life. I got to keep going. And it gives you that satisfaction to stay the course. This is then a goal setting kind of process where you can say, what are 2 goals in every area of my life? What could they be? Now, the point, guys, is not to run around life with 14 goals and to be overwhelmed. The point in life is to actually say, what matters most to me? And how do I build a rhythm of my life that is sustainable? Because Gino, I guarantee when you were saying that you neglected your health and you were overweight and all those things, it's because you're like, yeah, I'll deal with that later. Yeah. Right? It's good enough. And sometimes that's all we have the capacity for, and it's okay. There's a season, reason, and lifetime. But usually it's just a lie. Usually it's that we have not slowed down long enough to say, what really matters to me? What does freedom really look like? What would make me feel awesome and on fire and proud of who I am and connected in the ways I want to connect? And then how do I just build that into my everyday rhythm? How do I get enough sleep? How do I drink enough water? How do I eat clean and healthy that works for my body, sustained, not a diet, not paleo, and then all of a sudden vegan, and then the next minute bean protocol, and the next minute, like what are the things that work for me? And how do I just do that every single day?
Yeah. And Shayla, I think it's important to note that you will fall. You will go backwards. You think you got it. The moment you say, I got it, I did everything, I did the perfect circle, that's the moment you'll crash. Because complacency is human. It's something inside of us that says we feel like there's this finish line. And what happens when a marathon runner crosses the finish line? They cross the finish line and they pass out, they vomit, they die on the line because they left everything there. And so how do you get yourself back up? How do you remind yourself that the mission is not over? It's a never-ending race. You're always going to have to be fighting for it. And if you did get to that circle, the fight has to be, how do I keep it? How do I keep it? How do I wake up today and keep it? And when it does fall, because it will, when it does fall, your pity party must be short. You must put together a strategy to win and go build that back up. I mean, what we're talking about is a bunch of people that look in the rearview mirror in this industry. That's the problem. Oh, it's not like it was in 2020 and 2021. Guess what? Neither was 2018. 2018 wasn't like 20 and 21 because it hadn't happened yet you were still in the mortgage industry and still doing the best you can. So I never look in the rearview mirror except for historical context and education to say, I learned this because of that. I'm always looking at this moment right now at 11:53 in my time and forward. That's it. I never look back. So if when you start to look back, then you start to have remorse. Then you start to have nostalgia. Then you start to think of what it was. Well, shit, if you've already done it once before, just do it again. It's easier this time. The first time you do something is the hardest. The second time it gets easier. The more often you have to rebuild, the easier it gets to rebuild. I mean, I declared bankruptcy in 2012, and it's one of the best things I've ever done. And what do I tell people all the time? I say, I'm going to continue to risk it all because that's the best thing. That's how I operate. That's how I know how to operate. And if I lose it all again, guess what? Next time I'll build it bigger. And that's just kind of how I am. Now I'm an extremist. I don't know that everybody wants to put all their chips in all the time, but that's me. And I am that person. And I know that I can rebuild that way.
Well, I want to finish with, this is not the sheet I want to finish. I want to finish with setting some Q4 goals. Okay. So I've given you guys a ton. This talk was initially a 1.5 hour talk I gave live. And I didn't do interview stuff with it too. So I knew we weren't be able to get it all to today. I'm going to put in a little link in the chat really quick. This is for you to join my newsletter list or email list. Give me your email. And here's why, is because some of the stuff that we've talked about today is just pure strategy. The call that I did just last week is saying, what is your archetype? Are you a trust builder? Do you feel much more comfortable building deep, deep trust and connection with fewer people? Okay, well then how do you take that strength and that natural style and then leverage that to become a rainmaker? Okay, what if you're a networker? What if you love meeting people and you network like nobody's business? I'm assuming Gino's a networker. He's all over the place. How do you then harness that and actually convert it into real success? Because there's strengths and weaknesses to all of our natural styles. So anyway, tune in there. I'll send you guys the call from last week because I feel bad that we didn't get into much tactical stuff into like legitimately, how are you going to make the money that I want you to make so that you can live on the 30-30-10-30 rule, so that you can go into this year and say, this is my income goal, but this is my savings goal. Because if you don't have a savings goal and you're not putting money in the bank, what are we doing? We're in a career to build wealth. And again, most people have just never played the game because they haven't had something set out in front of them. And so if you leave this call and you say, I met this one crazy lady this one time and she had me do this one thing, that would be my goal for the takeaway. But okay,
Shayla, this is great. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, this is great. This is
well, it is, but you know, I like to get somewhere with people, and it's nice to get entertained, but it's really helpful to do the work. So if you guys would indulge me on this last piece, this is the quarterly goal. And if you came to this call and you have these printed out, then what I'd love everybody to do, and if you don't just have a scrap piece of paper, is pick one Q4 goal. Okay. And I want you to write a smarter goal. A smarter goal means that it is specific. Okay. It is measurable. It is actionable, relevant, timely, exciting, and realistic. A lot of times when I say, what's a goal that you have, people say, I need more relationships. It's not specific or measurable. Okay. It needs to say, I will work out for 45 minutes a day, every day before 2 p.m. when I leave to get the kids. That is specific, actionable, measurable. So I don't care what, and maybe your goal just simply needs to be, I will get 7 hours of sleep. I will go to bed by 10 p.m. every night. And that needs to be where you're at. Okay. One goal, I gave you guys 2 sheets. That's a max that I want you to really, really, really focus on for the fourth quarter. I teach 4 domains of life: fitness, impact, relationship, or enlightenment. So you would decide, which of those goals is it? Is it a money goal, an impact goal, a fitness goal, health and optimization? The key one here is your motivations, your key motivations. So let's say you wrote the goal. One of my goals is for Q4 is to see 100 people live face-to-face the next 3 months in a row. A key motivation for me of doing that is that when I can connect with somebody face-to-face, I can build a deep, meaningful relationship quickly. I can influence people to the next step to help them break through. I have most all of my success traces back to meeting people face to face at an event. So whether I'm teaching a lunch and learn, or I'm doing my Slay with Shay retreat, which I guess I have to talk to you guys about. So key motivations is why. Why does this matter? Why does this matter? Why does this matter? Why do you want it? When I did this with my loan officers, a lot of them put me land 3 new referral partners, 3 new agents that refer me. And I was like, okay, let's get more specific. What does the agent look like? How much business are they doing? What does it mean that they refer you? That they refer you 1 lead between now and the end of the year? That they refer you 1 closing between now and the end of the year? Why 3? Why does that matter? What would happen to you if you had these 3? How would you feel if you had these 3? The reason that we don't really take action on a lot of our goals is because we haven't really decided the key motivations and then simply come up with the next steps. So if the goal was I need 3 new referral partners, well, step 1 simply could be get a list of 25. Where am I going to get a list? Well, it depends. Are you a trust builder? You're going to ask other people for referrals. Are you a networker? You're going to get out to 5 more events. Are you a marketer? You're going to get on social media and you're going to connect with people socially, probably. Are you a technician? You're going to go back through all of your past closings and you're going to write a list of everybody you blew them away on listing agent buyer site. Again, it's going to depend on your style and what works for you. I don't care as long as you take that action. So if you have the next 2 or 3 steps and you have the goal with why it really, really matters, I promise you guys, you can really launch into creating momentum in the 4th quarter. And I would not be a good guest if we didn't really talk about how do you gain momentum. And for me, personal growth always comes once I want something bad enough. When I want something bad enough, I have that vision. I will then look at myself in the mirror and get real and say, what do I need to do to show up better? How am I dressed? What is my vibe? How is my energy? What am I saying? What am I doing for follow-up? But it has to first come with the vision. My husband's trying to find me now. So the last thing is just an invitation. It's not just an invitation. It's like the passion project of all passion projects for me. I am hosting my own live event. It is the 3rd live event that I've hosted. I'm just bragging because everyone says, holy shit, this is the best conference I've ever gone to. And I'll tell you why. It's because I design it. I handpick every single one of these speakers for a reason, because I know what loan officers are going through right now. And this event is actually both real estate agents and loan officers. So 50% of my speakers are top producing loan officers, and 50% are top producing agents and leaders and investors. And my goal for this event is see it, believe it, do it. Again, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen somebody 2 steps up the career path that has more time freedom, or that has that level of income, or that level of savings, or that swagger, or that confidence, or that process flow that you want, it's really hard to create it when you're in your own vacuum doing what you've always done because you have your own ideas about it. Sometimes all it takes is just getting a different perspective, getting away from your busy life for a moment and working on your business, not in your business. Sitting around a table and going, these people are kicking ass, but you know what? They're not that much different than I am. If he can do it, I can do it. Also, going to an event with a business partner, with a realtor sitting next to you, hearing the same things, all getting your planner, setting your strategy. What is your business plan for 2025? What are those tactics you're going to do? Like, sometimes you just need one person to believe in you. You need one person to be your partner in crime. You need one other person that is like just as jacked and fired up as you are, because I'm telling you, being super driven and enthusiastic by yourself is really challenging. So I welcome you. I want you at this event. I'm not sold out yet, but probably will be soon. I am doing it virtually as well. And I promise every one of these segments are going to be power segments because I work with the speakers. I'm getting all of their business plans to share with everybody. So you can go, okay, how does Denise Donahue do 500 deals a year? How does Allison Larson have a new baby, break 11.8 million and have her best month ever last month? How is Amanda Ray gone from $15 an hour to $4 million in the bank using the money rules that I'm teaching you? How is Allie flipping 35 houses this year? How is Jason Jacobs in St. Louis, like crushing Chairman's Club and having meetings that help win offers? I could go on and on about every single one of these. How's Andy Zeman just finished 75 hard with me. Colton Whitney does $200 million in production in real estate as a solo agent with a production partner. He's going to talk about the key to having a team. So I could go on and on, but the event's badass. It's only $500. It's a day and a half. And I highly recommend if you're at all believe that my energy, my intensity, and my strategic coaching can guide you where you need to go next, invest the money in yourself. And I promise I'll give you everything I got.
Shayla, I love it.
Incredible. Right. Yep.
That was excellent. To wrap us up here, Shayla, I just want to say thank you for joining us. Look, you did your best in cramming an hour and a half into an hour, even with Gino and I, interjecting. I would say to sum up, it's sum up like this: it's play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. What's your prize? Identify it and pursue it. Pursue it relentlessly. Don't just sit in nothingness and in bullshit. You gotta get pissed off. You gotta go for it. And if you're not in that saving mode, you gotta do that. But maybe that's just the goal, to get to there. And then once you get there, I think that you've given actionable steps for people to actually save and to retire. And say this: I love to hunt. We're hunters. I love to hunt. So let's do it. And I want to thank you. But let's slay with Shay. I mean, my goodness.
That was awesome. I had such a good time. Thank you, Shayla. You always bring the energy. And I want you to have a wonderful time in Cabo. I love Cabo. Go eat at Acre, wonderful restaurant, farm to table restaurant over there. And we will see you at your event. Right now, you called us out. Now you probably got to deal with Don and I.
Thank you. I want you there. Come, please.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Shayla, thank you so much. And then next week, for some of you that are branch managers and you need some help with how to recruit, what the mindset needs to be, please don't be a cold caller. Please don't be a moron. Please build relationships with people that you want to work with and have fun with together. And Eric Levin and Craig Davis are going to talk about that next week. So join us next week. And then you've got Sean Herrero and Dave Savage are two good friends that the week after that. So thank you for joining us today and have a great one.